right, welcome back. Welcome back to Friend or Foe Season 7 Heroic League. We are here for Week 4, Day 1. This is the third game of the day. We just got back from two crazy games. Now up next, we have Fat Pikachu versus Universal Basic Income. My name is Chris Sanga, and I'm here with Anti. How are you, Anti?
Hello. I am doing quite well, and we've had some crazy games today.
Ooh, yeah.
And this is shaping up to be no different. Universal Basic Income, our reigning champions, going to be taking a fight toe-to-toe with Fat Pikachu, which is technically, Fat Pikachu is not in first place right now. But,
Yep.
you know, up until very recently was undefeated until going down to the revamped INT, you know, like... INT always been very strong competitors, but Universal Basic Income YUBI is no less terrifying. So Fat Pikachu really had to show us, you know, can you bounce back from a tough loss like that one? But right now, going to be taking away some very specific picks here, which, if I'm going to be honest with you, knowing YUBI, these picks are definitely going to be, you know, very how do you call it?
Volatile.
Knowing YUBI, these picks are very much going to be researched, because a lot of these picks are very heavily based around, hey, you know, what is meta right now? You know, what is it that my opponent can see right now? But either way, you know, we have things like the Orin picked up, like the Maokai picked up. You know, we got hella beef balls right now. So Fat Pikachu has to fire back with something that can take out, you know, some of these champions.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see the draft on a separate screen right now. Ours is blocked at the moment. Hopefully, producer can handle that in a second. But yeah, it looks like Kindred picked up on the side of Fat Pikachu for Kenny Train. Kenny Train has had fantastic games on that Kindred. We got Maokai, Poppy pick for the side of Universal Basic Income. Very safe picks. Maokai, very obvious staple for the side of Universal Basic Income. And Milio potentially picked up for the side of Fat Pikachu. It looks like it is going to be locked in. Fat Pikachu for Raptor. Raptor has had a couple Milio games so far in the season, and I think a couple in qualifiers. So yeah, has been playing fantastic on that Milio so far.
I mean, Raptor has been one of the kind of question marks of Fat Pikachu, but has always been a very integral part of the team. You know, sometimes we'll have some incredible pop-off games. Sometimes we'll have a little bit of a rough game here and there. But either way, when you put Raptor on these enchanters, like the Milio, like the Renata, you can see just how much he can shine. And right now, you know, with Milio being able to take out things like Maokai's entire ultimate, you know, Poppy's heroic charge, and Rel being picked up for Zen, you know, while it might be a very strong engage, once again, this is a champion that you can essentially negate by virtue of having Milio on your team. You know, this is a phenomenal pick here. You know, not only do you have his super mega fire kick, I think it was his Q name.
Sure, something like that.
He's got some really funny ability names, but not only can you cancel Rel's entire engage, if she does land the engage, you just ulti and walk away.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, Rel, from what I've been hearing, has been one of the stronger supports to pick so far here in FOF. Zen also, for those of you who are new to FOF, Zen is also a reigning champion as well, or sorry, not reigning anymore, I guess. Is also a past champion when he won on Rex Regalis. At the time, he was a mid laner, so he is the support now for Universal Basic Income. Lots of championship names on this roster on the side of YUBI. We're going to see how these last few bans get completed. Jinx Lux banned from the side of YUBI. Samira Cassiopeia banned from the side of Fat Pikachu. And Kaisa is the lock-in for Universal Basic Income.
All right, here we are picking with Lolalytics, you know. Kaisa, one of the strongest AD carries on this patch. But speaking of AD carries strong in this patch, Kog'Maw, not a champion that we see too often here, but pairing it with the Milio is phenomenal. And right now, honestly, I think that there could not be a better pick if you're looking for a tank busting champion. But you have to be really careful picking Kog'Maw here, because, you know, you have to pair it with something that can keep Kog'Maw safe, right? You know, you have the Kindred already, right? You know, Lamb's Respite should be able to keep Kog'Maw alive for a little bit longer. But Kongma needs more, and Annie is going to provide that CC, that aggro tanking, right? You know, that Tibbers that's going to be plopped down in the middle of the enemy team that the enemy team has to take the time to deal with, so that way they're not just hitting the cog the entire time.
Jukunk, fairly prolific Annie player as well. I think, you know, Civillock would be a huge fan of going against Annie, having to play Annie, being forced to play Annie for so many years. But Annie is the lock-in for Jukunk. Jukunk being one of the star mid laners, I think, that we've seen throughout the season and the off-season as well. Fat Pikachu obviously performing really well with the squad. But the Annie pick is going to be taken by Jukunk, so nothing crazy like the Yone or anything like Syndra or any of those crazy carry champions. But Swain is the pickup for the side of Universal basic income, most likely for Civillock.
All right, and Civillock, freed from the Annie jail, going to be able to instead pick a completely different mid laner, in one that can also put down a ton of AoE damage with the ultimate, walk straight through a team fight, CC some champions. Civillock always going to be happy to be playing a control mage of some kind, and into Annie, Swain's going to be able to do a lot of work.
Yep. Absolutely. We're going to see how this game goes. I think we're ready for game. Here we go. Fat Pikachu versus Universal Basic Income. Let's get straight into the game. These two teams currently top of the standings at the moment. Fat Pikachu, not technically first place at the moment, but should they win this game, they will continue to be first place, tied with Art of War Esports. Universal Basic Income also coming off of, you know, strong second place, well, tied for second/third place. At the moment, so obviously they want as many wins as possible. With OVS winning their last game, that means you know, should YUBI lose this, OVS is going to have a more comfortable spot in the standings. But yeah, here we are. Kenny Train going in for a little bit of vision onto that red buff. Does land the ward without too many consequences. But everyone other than that, just kind of taking it easy, 5-pointing throughout this early game.
Yeah, flashing all the emotes, flashing that level 7 in the mid lane, Jukunk just showing off skills before the game even begins. Ultravox and Utility Monster now going to be looking to pick up this ward. Utility Monster griefed it. Oh my god.
That is that's unfortunate. Okay, second scanner is online. Okay, love the new second scanner, guys. Love it. Love the extra charge on it. I played League of Legends a couple weeks ago and was like, oh, this is new. This is really entertaining. But I believe it did shorten the length of the scan. Oh yeah.
And just like that, gonna be starting off the lane with a decent bit of damage on Zen Zen, and Raptor already starting off with a decent amount of damage to my brain cells and sanity. Oh baby.
Okay, I'm excited to see this mid lane matchup, personally, Jukunk versus Civillock. Civillock also being one of the star mid laners throughout FOF history since he joined with YUBI in Season 3. Always been the type of player, not a player who's like insanely flashy or anything, but a player who's always just solid and makes sure that he's in the right place at the right time, very positional. An engage has happened here in the bot lane by Zen Zen on the Rel. Raptor has to flash. The ignite is ticking. Does he go down? He is chugging health pots. 1 HP left for Raptor, but does expend Inabi's flash. Zen Zen's ignite for Raptor's flash. But wow, all that happened just because of that level 2 advantage that YUBI bot laner was able to procure for themselves. So presence of mind to just understand that you need to back off if you don't get level 2 first.
Yeah, I mean, that level 2 is so terrifying on the side of YUBI, right? You know, the moment that Rel jumps in, you are in for a world of hurt. And yes, you can cancel it out with the Milio Q, but you have to be on point every time. You can't miss a single one. You know, missing a single one. Right now, I don't think Jukunk has missed a single farm, like maybe 1 or 2, but like this Annie is farming quite well, keeping up with the junglers early on, as everyone is just looking to trade on a repeat.
Yeah, Jukunk, being one of the best laners, I think, so far in FFF Season 7.
Absolutely.
High stats for him as well. If you take a look at the leaderboards, you can check him out, Friend of Foe Connect, or on the tournament sheet. But Jukunk and the rest of Fat Pikachu members are all shining currently, especially Black Pink Trash. I believe hasn't. I think I don't remember the stats, so someone in chat might have to correct me. But I think he's died on an average of just once per game in the 6-7 games that they're about to play. So Kenny Train, unfortunately meets Utility Monster in the middle. Does get that scuttle for himself, but Kenny Train is going to have to flash out. Milio is here to try to keep Kenny Train alive, and Utility Monster.
So much damage.
Low. First blood goes over to Fat Pikachu. Utility Monster is the one to go down first, and now this is an interesting sandwich, and Navi, Zenzen, and Civillock are now pinched in Tribush with Jakunk and Raptor sitting in the wings. Kenny Train is playing so close right now. He's really limit testing his health right now. Civillock on the back pedal has to flash away. No one gonna be able to follow up on that flash. Civillock able to run away safely, but one kill in the end over to Fat Pikachu.
Yeah, and just like that, there was so much damage being pumped onto Blackpink Trash, being pumped onto Kenny Train. And you see that Kenny Train actually changed up the entire pathing, knowing that Utility Monster would be on that scuttle, going to be able to pick up that one mark, and that mark damage is actually what ended up changing that fight. And Raptor able to pick up that early kill might not necessarily be where they want the gold to go, but any extra gold on top of a Kog'Maw is good gold. Meanwhile, Ultravox looking to be a good amount of gold right now. Stormblast in trouble and going down. Oh my god.
Oh, and he's going to try to get himself executed, so Kenny Train doesn't get any assist for that. Well played by Ultravox. Is a 1-for-1 in the end, but considering the situation, well played by Ultravox. Oh, and here comes an engage onto Jakunk by Utility Monster. Jakunk doesn't have any mana to retaliate, but he's just gonna walk away just fine. Just looking at Utility Monster, like, what are you doing here? What's happening?
Right, and right now, you know, Jakun just needs a back, just TP all the way back over here. Utility Monster being a pest, trying to make sure that Jakun does not get to play the game as he pleases.
Yeah, this is very Utility Monster here to just, you know, make sure that opponents are not having a good time. You know, it might look weird, it might look, you know, kind of unorthodox, but I mean, 4-time champion. What else are you gonna argue with me about? You know.
All right. I mean, either way, speaking of champions, Ultravox looking to fight like a champion right here, just constantly trading, constantly going in. Might be down in farm, but definitely not down in gumption, as he's just continually going in. Stormblast level 6 could be difficult for the Poppy here.
Yeah, and Navi also farming fairly well in this lane as well. Jakunk as well, also still keeping up with all that CS. I mean, you know, we have to attribute a lot of it to the whole being on camera really does make people CS better or worse, depending on who you are. But when you get used to it, I think most people CS scores shine on camera when they're truly on focus. Ultravox getting a lot done here, exerting so much aggression onto Stormblast, just standing with his minions, making sure Stormblast doesn't easily get to farm this. Ultravox has to walk away from all of this. Now, considering all of this, Inavi has Flash Exhaust coming back up soon. Zenzen, no Flash. I don't know when his Flash is coming back up. It has Flash at the moment. So I can't imagine a big play is going to happen bot lane anytime soon. But should that be the case, Dragon is on the table at the moment. Dragon should be a good focal point for a lot of these players for both these teams. Whoa, bright vision. We see everything. Okay, mini map.
Well, that vision in the mini map where you get to see everything, it just always feels wrong, right? Because like on one hand, yeah, you do get to see the whole map and it's cool and all, but on the other hand, you just look at it and it's like, this is not right.
No,
I could never get this.
Yeah, it's really because it's lost its sense of shading. There's no shadows, and the feeling of no shadows is super weird. I mean, in my opinion at least. But anyway, Fat Pikachu now converging a little bit towards that dragon, while the other two laners are trying to push their lanes up as much as possible to allow themselves to walk to the dragon should it be necessary, or teleport to the dragon. But Raptor and Kenny Train being the first ones to step foot into that river and exert vision control first.
And speaking of laning, Fat Pikachu have done an incredible job when it comes to laning. Like, Ultravox might have a good trade here and there on Stormblast. Speaking of which, we have some pretty good trade over here.
Yeah, Ultravox and Stormblast below 50% HP right now. Looks like Ultravox was winning that matchup, but both of them gonna walk that out. Both of them, yeah. Well, what's cool about that is that Ultravox is really making sure that if Dragon is 100% gonna be fought right now, like Stormblast can't teleport to it at this moment. But Maokai ulti comes out from Utility Monster onto Jakunk. Jakunk still has flash, but gets pulled away by Civillock. He realizes he doesn't need to expend his flash. He knows he's dead, and another kill goes over to Universal Basic Income.
Yeah, and Jakunk right there, the moment that he's rooted up, looks to be a main character in a Ping Pong, the animation live action film. is just continually knocked around every which way and has no options to get out. Ulti still down, flash just not available in the moment, just because it just won't do anything right there, right? And right now, Zenzen and Navi just going to continue to try to pick up as much farm and much gold as possible. But the dragon stacking is a huge, huge strategy for the side of Fat Pikachu.
Yep. This is going to be a dragon over to the side of Fat Pikachu. They'll be able to take that first. But, I mean, the first 2 games that we've had for today has just been the name of the game has been like one team just gunning it for all these dragons. But the team that has gotten all the dragons ended up losing for both these past 2 games. So, I mean, I don't know, worrying trend, I guess. We'll see how this dragon priority, stacks up. Kenny Train now hovering the wings of this bot lane. They might see it. A utility monster is actually here to respond to this. Raptor goes for the flash Q on Milio, sees utility monster, and realizes he should just back out. If anything, fair aggression there. He didn't know 100% where utility monster was, but once he saw it, they were at least calm enough to walk back. Oh, but Inavi's taking a lot of damage. This might be a little bit enough to engage on. Oh, Inavi gets deleted by Kenny Train. Zenzen pops the Rel ulti, but has to jump out. Utility Monster also looking for a way out as well. Does have flash should he need to expend it. Does use that flash at the very last possible second. Kindred ult is also up as well for the side of Fat Pikachu for that healing. And this tower is going to be chunked by the side of Fat Pikachu.
Yeah, and Utility Monster going to be able to survive with just the tiniest sliver of help. But plates going in towards Blackpink Trash Neo might be another kill that might have been better on Kog'Maw, but it doesn't matter because if Kog'Maw gets to farm, it doesn't even matter if he has kills. He can just get to the items, get to the experience breakpoints that are really needed. The moment that Kog'Maw hits level 9, this game gets so much more difficult for the side of YUBI. A lot of the times YUBI might not have the strongest laning, but they have an incredibly strong macro and team fighting. But against this team composition, it might be hard to come out on top if Ultravox doesn't land the right timing on the ultimate. If Stormblast doesn't get in front of it on time, right? Like, this team composition could immediately be picked apart from either side.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to the coaches on the side of Fat Pikachu and Universal Basic Income for these drafts as well, Sundubu and Jeff God Gamer. Fantastic idea to have a coach in FOF, by the way, if you have the luxury to be able to do so, in my opinion. Just having that 6th person being able to, see everything is just super helpful. Kenny Train also now starting to hover the wings. Ultravox is deciding to engage a little bit. Stormblast is given the Q. Ultravox decides to flash forward. Ooh, nice dodge by Kenny Train. Ultravox is now just running away. Unfortunately, not going to be enough to keep himself alive, and Kenny Train will pick up that kill on Ultravox.
Yeah, and it was looking so good for so long, the flash forward to deny the ultimate from Stormblast. But the moment that the Poppy ult doesn't quite land on Kenny Train, it's just over for their side. Meanwhile, Blackpink Trash making sure that Raptor's life is not forfeit, while Kenny Train and Stormblast get so much damage down on this top tower. The question is, who actually picks up the first tower? 4 people in the bot lane or one Shelly girl?
Looks like Shelly. It's looking like Shelly. Raptor and Blackpink Trash here to successfully keep the push from happening. I like the idea to try to counter push with that whole with Retail dropping top lane, but I mean, Blackpink Trash and Raptor shrewdly able to just keep themselves safe and keep the tower safe so they can't take too much.
And in the meantime, we just got Blackpink Trash continually farming up, getting closer and closer to that Rage Blade. One Siege minion, 1 minion away to that Cult Pop. Can he get it? There it is, the most important siege of his life. Gonna be able to pick that up, getting it so much farm and gonna take so much damage. Oh my god.
What?
Raptor just throwing everything in to make sure that Blackpink Trash can't die there.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I saw the rel jump, I blinked, and I missed it, and it was over.
So
I swear.
Zen jumps in as rel, with a W. Raptor cancels with the Q, doesn't trust himself, and immediately ulties.
Got it. Okay. That's what okay. Understood. The Q knockback.
So basically, Raptor was ultra sick with it, and then said, you know what? What if I messed up? And then just made sure that there was no chance.
I mean, better safe than sorry, Better safe than sorry.
I mean,
I
one of the beautiful things about the ultimate is that it also adds tenacity to everyone who was in the ulti when casted. So, if you ult early, the follow-up stun from Zen would also end up essentially being canceled. So it's honestly a pretty dang solid ultimate.
Great. Okay, well, fantastic play by Raptor. I genuinely just blinked and missed it. It was so fast. But Universal Basic Income now converging onto this dragon. Kenny Train and the rest of Fat Pikachu aren't in the best position to try to establish perfect vision for it. Kenny Train gets engaged on by Utility Monster. Utility Monster's run Railing Roller right now, but Exhaust is onto Kenny Train. The Kindred ult is alive right now, but YUBI members are just deleting Fat Pikachu health bars. So much is happening. Everything is so spread out. Zen with a sliver of HP gets that engage onto Fat Pikachu members, and that's 3 for 2 in favor of Universal Basic Income and most likely taking this dragon.
Yeah, I mean, the moment that they realize Stormblast doesn't have a way how to TP into this fight, they immediately go straight down for it. And they know that Raptor's ultimate is down. I was praising Raptor earlier for that ultimate, but, right there, Fat Pikachu have to play around the fact that they know their Milio doesn't have ultimate. If Milio has ulti there, that entire fight gets turned on its head. Maokai ulti no longer matters. Rel engage essentially doesn't get to exist there. And it just gets so much more difficult to play the fight. But because that crucial ult timing is down, Universal Basic Income punish with the force of 1,000 cats.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Raptor is probably thinking now in hindsight, like, oh man, I really wish I didn't use that ulti earlier. But at the same time, yeah, there's some communication there. It is really okay and allowed to tell your teammates, hey, I don't have cooldowns. Let's not do this. We often see a lot of these team fights go one way or the other just because one team or one player didn't have his ulti because it was up like 15 seconds later or things like that. And that always feels bad when, you just lost a team fight and you're like, oh, I wish I had ulti or something,
I mean, hindsight is always 2020, and I can pretty much guarantee, I bet everyone on the stage right now would be very happy to take any fight when their ulti's up, the entire time. Like, anytime your ult's down, he's like, man, I wish I had my ult up there.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to play it safe, though. No, not too many fights. You need reason behind these fights.
Exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, Jakunk now moving on to the side lane. That is his new assignment, while Raptor and Blackpink Trash assign themselves to the mid lane. Utility Monster just got the scuttle and is kind of hovering Jakunk a little bit. Does get spotted out by the blue trinket. Jakunk does have to face the Maokai ulti. Does get rooted. Is going to have to pop out Tibbers. Utility Monster is here with Zen, and Annie just gets immediately. Jakunk goes down in favor of Universal Basic Income.
Yeah, I mean, there's literally nothing that Jakun could have done there. You can't flash over the Maokai ultimate. The root lasts for so long. And right now, Ultravox trying to survive a little bit longer here. Oh my lord, this Poppy is so tanky. How tanky is she, though? Kenny Train forced to burn the ultimate, tanking the tower for forever. And just barely going to survive in the end. What was looking like an easy pick onto Ultravox, not going to be working out in the end. And as I was saying earlier, I bet Kenny Train wishes he had his ult up for this fight.
Yeah, 100%. Utility Monster is here for the pursuit. Flashes forward onto Kenny Train. No Kindred ulti available. Just going to have to keep kiting this.
No.
Utility Monster does get deleted, though. Zenzen and Civillock now on the backpedal. Zenzen has to jump out. Ultravox is near this fight as well, but looks like Fat Pikachu are just going to start retreating this. They got what they needed. They got one out of all of that after, I believe, losing one. And Rift Herald also on the table now for Fat Pikachu or Universal Basic Income. A little difficult for Fat Pikachu to get their members in there. But Kenny Train is going to start it up. He is going to try it. That is kind of a gamble to think that Zenzen and Ultravox won't check the Herald. Ultravox decides to engage onto Kenny Train, and Navi dashes forward. But no kill onto Kenny Train. They aren't able to lead him. He's just able to jump away scot-free.
Yeah, and just once again, a battle of inches, playing it on a knife's edge as both of these teams just continually trying to force as many objectives as possible, trying to really make use of the gold lead that they have. Meanwhile, Stormbless has now picked up, the fully finished Jack Show, not going to be opting for the Sunfire Keep in this game, just going to be opting to get as tanky as possible, no extra damage needed. Your Kog'Maw's already going to be opting for doing as much damage as you could possibly be asking for. Meanwhile, a Force of Nature is so good into this team.
Yeah.
The Swain, constant ticks of magic damage. The Kaisa, constant ticks of magic damage. There's just so much magic damage on this team that the only physical damage that you really have to deal with is a little bit from Kaisa and a little bit from Poppy. So right now, Stormbless in a very happy position.
There's so much tension around this Rift Herald right now. I mean, Kenny Train's the one here with Smite, so he's able to just be confident. But Black Pink Trash is in the wrong spot at the wrong time. Is able to sidestep the Civilux grab, but wow, Flash expended at the very least. I don't think he expected Civillock to be there when he flashed over the wall, but Black Pink Trash able to slip away.
Yeah, and just like that, looking like the Roadrunner, just meep walking on out of there at 1 billion miles an hour is Raptor popping the Shurelya's as they're walking it straight into the jungle, trying to make this dragon fight happen.
This is a face check, guys. This is a face check. You don't need it. Shurelya is that. But now they're starting to establish a little bit of vision. They're inching their way towards this Dragon Pit right now. They drop the Herald to try to force Fat Pikachu, force Universal Basic Income to make a choice. And Yumi does decide to give up Dragon Pit for defense onto that tower. Tower is running really low. Okay, Utility Monster pops the Maokai ulti. The dragon is being focused right now. Utility Monster steals the dragon. Zenzen gets a great ulti, and Fat Pikachu members just have to flash out. Kenny Train pops the Kindred ultimate, but it's not going to be enough to keep him alive afterwards. Stormbless has to flash out as well. YUBI members deciding not to be overzealous, not to over-engage. Utility Monster got the dragon. They got one kill. And Fat Pikachu, they can't be too happy about that.
I mean, Utility Monster, as always, a monster of the Smite's going to be able to secure that one. And it's not a YUBI game if we're not going to have at least 7 dragons. So, gonna start up the commentator's curse now, so that way we hopefully don't have to deal with it later.
Right.
But either way, Fat Pikachu and YUBI just going toe-to-toe again and again. And this time, Raptor did have the ultimate, was able to keep everyone out of the Maokai ultimate for an extended period of time. And because of that, Fat Pikachu only going to be dropping down. Kenny Train, not too much else in terms of who dies there. But Stormblast is slowly getting stronger and stronger. The more gold, the more experience we see on this Ornn is the more gold that we can see pumped into the rest of the team. And that's why YUBI have to be proactive. They cannot just sit around and wait, because there is nothing you can do to deal with a late game Kog'Maw with Ornn ornaments.
Absolutely. We're going to have to see how this late game transpires. Fat Pikachu and Universal Basic Income, both top half of the standings at the moment. Fat Pikachu obviously wants to have possession of first place. Should they lose this game, it will go to Art of War Esports for the time being, at least. Universal Basic Income trying to get anything that they can, any win possible. And Fat Pikachu has just been on a rampage this whole season. They dropped 1 game to end the trees, which was huge. Power rankings are still sort of putting Fat Pikachu, I think it was like 3rd or 4th. So they're not super convinced that Fat Pikachu's first place just yet. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can check it out, Friend or Foe Connect, FOFesports.com/press. But anyway, lots of vision control now handed over towards this Baron pit, and everyone just gonna refresh, go back, refresh their wards, refresh their scanners, should they need to. And here's Utility Monster, understanding that the rest of Fat Pikachu had to have gone back, had to have left, and feels confident enough to go for this vision.
Yeah, and in this upcoming fight, one thing to note, right, is that Civillock, with the ultimate, it gets to apply the Rylai's to so many members of the enemy team. It does not matter if you have the Milio ult active, if you're just constantly slowed trying to walk away from the Birdman. But right now, Utility Monster getting so much vision in the side of Fat Pikachu's top side jungle. That Baron is so hard for Fat Pikachu to walk towards.
I mean, that's such good presence of mind. The idea of their support just hard warded Baron and left. Like, there's no way he tries to ward it again, right? You know, good presence of mind, good idea. But now a lot of these Fat Pikachu members now pressuring a little bit on this Baron pit. And Navi just sitting back, making sure that there's no big push towards mid lane to ensure Baron goes down. But literally, this tower is sneezable. You could sneeze on it, and it will die 100%. And I'm pretty sure Fat Pikachu are eyeing that right now. But a lot of YUBI members just huddling around this Baron pit, ensuring that all of the wards are gone. Fat Pikachu now a little bit on the back pedal while YUBI is able to get more control of this this jungle.
Now, one thing I do kind of want to note here is that Navi has been playing with this AP Kai'Sa incredibly well. This game, I wouldn't hate it if a Navi actually ended up opting for Luden's Echo. Instead is going to be the Rage Blade, never mind. But, you know, right now, you know, still the pickaxe away from getting that evolved Q. So still not looking to hard commit to the backline diving here, as Civillock and Utility Monster will have that be their job instead of the Kai'Sa's job.
And Navi also one of the I feel like underappreciated or not really talked about a whole lot, but has been a fantastic AD carry so far in Universal Basic Income's games. I mean, obviously it was a little hard to sort of shine on him for the factors that, you know, YUBI didn't have the best first 2 weeks, and let alone you're following up Jeff God Gamer, one of the best ADCs in FOF, and 4-time champion as well. Stormbless getting grabbed, lots of tension here in the mid lane, but Pikachu understand that they don't have the best position to start anything. Kenny Train trying to get some damage onto Utility Monster, but this is gonna be YUBI versus Basic Income. I feel like they have way more pressure. This feels like YUBI is stronger in this moment, in this positioning. This feels weird. Kenny Train and the rest of Fat Pikachu opting to push mid. Okay, but the fight has begun. Civillock has engaged and started his Swain ulti. So much is happening. Stormbless gets rooted. Jakuk gets caught out and gets deleted by Civillock. 5 members of YUBI still alive. 4 members of YUBI now alive. Civillock goes down. Kog'Maw is just peppering onto these YUBI members. Kenny Train is trying to do what he can. Kindred ulti goes through, and Navi decides to actually ult in. Gets exhausted, gets healed, has to start kiting. This back is super low. So is Kenny Train. Ultravox, sliver of HP. To flash. Blackpink Trash also flashed forward too, but couldn't hit Ultravox. So many members of Fat Pikachu, of Universal Basic Income are too low to try to re-engage this. Fat Pikachu are now on this dragon. YUBI have to back out of this. Oh, but Utility Monster is gonna do Utility Monster things. 100% guarantee. Okay, didn't have enough time to get to the Blast Cone. Didn't have, did have Flash available, so could have tried. Oh, but Kenny Train smelled him right there. He saw the sapling and said Utility Monster has to be here. Kenny Train engages on Utility Monster, and Utility Monster will go down to Fat Pikachu.
Yeah, and just like that, Kenny Train gonna be able to pick up yet another stack. Blackpink Trash played that fight incredibly, and that's not to discount Kenny Train in the slightest either. You know, every single member of Fat Pikachu is playing these fights with incredible accuracy, but the fact that Blackpink Trash was able to position in a way that he didn't get touched, he didn't get stopped a single time, and just got the free hit the entire time. That's why the ornament item is already on the cog this early.
Yeah, Absolutely. Blackpink Trash playing amazing this whole season. Again, have to point out his stats. Please check him out. KDA, insane. Deaths per game, insane. Um, yeah, everyone on Fat Pikachu playing these fights so patiently and so accurately, too. You got to respect it. It's so hard to sort of calm down and really, everyone be, the same level of cool while you're in these, heat of the moment fights.
Yeah, meanwhile, Ultravox just going to continue being a split push menace here. And Navi going to get the mid lane shoved out, but Jakunk and Stormblast, can you do it?
Yep, Jakunk is here. Ultravox is able to push out Stormblast, so this is just Jakunk right now. Does he have enough damage to try to fight back against Jakunk? It doesn't look like it. Jakunk is running a little low on mana right now, deciding to chase after this, and we're starting to see YUBI members start to converge towards that Baron. Ultravox decides to re-engage. Jakunk finally gets the kill onto Ultravox. YUBI doesn't go straight for this Baron. Very smart of 3 members of Fat Pikachu to beeline it towards that Baron while that fight was happening, because they knew the attention would be there. Great work by everyone.
Yeah, phenomenal stuff here, but right now it's a question of the Baron, right? It's constantly just got so much vision around it. It's just so hard to play denial. You have the Maokai, you have the entirety of the enemy team just piling right in as Blackpink Trash and Kenny Train put out so much damage on this purple worm here.
Okay, there's so much tension here. Utility Monster pops. The Maokai ulti Cibolock is on the flank. Oh, but is immediately getting deleted by Blackpink Trash. Blackpink Trash is still peppering on all these members, and Navi is a little too deep and goes down. Utility Monster gonna have to go down as well. Has to flash out. 2 members of YUBI still in this fight. Zen going down to Kenny Train. Ultravox, the only one left standing to fight. And this is just Utility Monster here to maybe steal. If I know him, which I think I do, I feel like he tries to go for this steal for a desperate play. But Stormblast, very smart of him to push Utility Monster out to make sure no one gets anywhere near this worm.
Yeah, and honestly, I've been singing praises to Blackpink Trash for his positioning throughout these fights. I have to say, Raptor able to survive on just a sliver of HP during that fight was so incredibly important. Able to draw resources away from his carries, able to survive for just a little bit longer and throw a healing field from over the wall, and also increasing Kenny Train's auto attack range like that. This Milio play is insane, and there's a reason why they put so much priority on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Raptor has had fantastic melee games so far throughout the season. Producer, if you can hear me, can we get a Kindred mark check? We have a sec. Just press on Kindred. Yeah, there we go. I can't
11?
see it. Okay, 11 stacks on this Kindred right now. Fat Pikachu feel great. Still 2-2 dragons. Next dragon coming up shortly, 48 seconds. So lots of attention down here from the side of Fat Pikachu. I don't think Universal Basic Income feel too confident to try to push into this, but Fat Pikachu establish their control of this Dragon Pit.
I mean, I knew Kenny Train was doing pretty well. That's a lot of stacks.
Yeah, it's a lot of stacks. 11 stacks on Kindred.
Yeah, so Kenny Train currently has 125 extra range on autos.
Wow.
Which, actually, what is the auto range? So that should bring it up to 650. And with 2 more stacks, brings that one up to 700, if I remember correctly.
Let alone Milio. Milio too, giving you
675,
right?
sorry. And adding Milio on top of that, dear God, they've got range. And speaking of range, right now they're going to have to be playing this one from range as there's so much going on.
Utility Monster tries to engage something, but Jakun cuts him off. The rest of Pikachu are here to delete the rest of Universal Basic Income in almost seconds. A teleport coming out of Jakun to push towards that mid inhibitor. Zen, the only one alive for Universal Basic Income to try to do anything. But, I mean, What is he gonna do? Fat Pikachu just destroy Universal Basic Kingdom in that engage. And nice Valiant attempt. Baron empowered minions also now knocking at the doors of Yubi's base. 18 and 8 now the score is for Fat Pikachu, and this could just be the game. They don't have any regard for death timers right now. They feel confident enough to try to just force this, and Zen gets removed from the game, and no one is alive to defend this in 33 minutes. Fat Pikachu take down our former champions Universal Basic Income.
And just like that, we were talking about the range, we were talking about the way how they're playing these fights all game, but in the end, it was the pure damage coming out from the side of the Fat Pikachu carries that decided that fight.
Yeah.
You know, everything looked so good for YUBI for so long, but Fat Pikachu showing exactly why they're tied for first place right now, because dear Lord, does their team play well together. Every single link on that chain is a tough link to deal with.
Oh man, absolutely. And with that, Fat Pikachu gets to keep their first place placement at the moment, currently tied with Art of War Esports. Blackpink Trash and Raptor, shoutouts to you guys. Fantastic game.
A perfect game from Raptor.
Yeah, perfect game from Raptor. You know, I had questions on how Raptor would do when I found out he decided to play for the season instead of work. Because, you know, for those of you who have been here for a long time, you might know Raptor used to be tournament organizer, he used to be casting, he used to be working FOF. And I'm so happy he gets the opportunity to play in the final season because, you know, as much as, you know, I need all the help I can get, I would love nothing more than for my staff to, you know, participate in an FOF season if they can. So,
oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Great game.
And here he is on stage with 84% kill participation.
Wow, that's quick math. Well done. 84% kill participation. We're going to add that to the stat leaderboard. Okay, we have to go, but coming up next will be an interview with Fat Pikachu. Thank you guys so much for watching. Shout out to Adobe Creative Cloud, Academy of Art, and Logitech Gaming. Make sure you check out the Friendofo Connect, fofelsports.com/press. We spent a lot of time on it, and we appreciate it. So, yeah, thank you guys so much, and we will catch you guys in the next game. See you later.
Hello, folks, and welcome back. It looks like we have unbenched the Kench as Rap Terror is back on the field and actually getting a chance to play, pulling out a win for Fat Pikachu. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, this been involved with FOF for 6.5 seasons now, so it's wild. This is my first time actually interviewing.
Getting interviewed instead of doing the interview.
Yeah, exactly. I feel it's definitely a weird feeling. Look.
It is. So you kind of got the rundown though, so you know exactly what I'm going to be asking. So feel free to just kind of like chime in with whatever thoughts you got. But it definitely seemed like y'all were doing very, very well in the beginning, and then not so great in the middle. And it looked like Utility Monster's plans were coming into play, but somebody obviously had the playbook and knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, so something that we've been working on is just kind of as a team is going through different parts of the game and trying to understand them. And for this game, like I already was talking with our coach, and we're already discussing we need to work on understanding our power spikes better, and like when we as champions spike, because we think that was probably part of a little bit of the issue in the early game was that we didn't really understand our champions' power spikes as well as we probably should. But I think overall, like our team does really well even when we're behind because we have really solid team fighting. And I think in this case, like we just drafted a much stronger comp.
Yeah, no, your draft was very strong. It seems like enchanters are definitely the way to go for you. And it's kind of funny. We were talking about it a little bit before hopping on air. It really seems like, honestly, Milo just fits you so well.
Yeah.
Like in theming and in champion.
Yeah. I love this champion. Like I have such a fun time playing him. Despite being like really immobile, he feels like he kind of weaves in and out. And I like being able to, contribute to my team no matter what. With him, I'm surprised I keep getting him, honestly. Like I am not even practicing him, so I'm just shocked that I'm allowed to keep having Milio. I mean, that's fine. If teams just want to keep giving me him, that's fine. I am completely content with that. But it's definitely doing better than my Tart game last week, that's for sure.
Yeah, just a little bit. Now, jumping over to the rest of your team, the Kenny was doing absolutely phenomenally on the Kindred. Just the number of stacks they had at the end, I think was like 11 or 12. So that was clearly y'all were you planning to play around that Kindred? Was that kind of like the goal going in, or was that kind of a let's see if we can pull this off against Utility Monsters planning?
So it felt like it was more of a like backup goal for us. Kenny just popped off on the Kindred. Like he's so good at Kindred, and he had a fantastic game. But originally our plan was, we were going to play around the Kog'Maw. It's kind of a protect the Kog'Maw comp with Milio and Kindred and the Ornn item to kind of give him that buff late game. But Kindred turned out to be a really good fallback, and especially with the amount of damage Kenny was able to put out and all the stacks he had. I didn't even realize how many he had at that point, but like by the end of the game, he basically had more range than he almost has as much range as Kog'Maw, I think, with my W on him. So I think it worked out really well. It wasn't planned, but it was a good backup.
It certainly was. Were there any other backup plans you had in particular versus a Navi and Zen?
I kind of just was gonna play safe. It's almost become a running joke at this point that I die usually at the beginning of every game for doing something stupid, and I didn't feed first blood, so I was already happy there. I was a little worried, you know. I was like, oh god, I haven't fed first blood. Are we actually gonna win this? But yeah, like it was just kind of being passive in the bottom lane, you know, trying to learn to play more passively, which is something I kind of struggle with. I walk a little too far forward all the time on every champion I play. So I had to kind of like really temper myself this game. Jeffrey Blackpink, I knew he was going to be fine no matter what, but it was just keeping me to not feed an Avi so that we could keep it even, because if we go even, Kog'Maw just wins out.
Well, Fat Pikachu has certainly made themselves kind of like the scary team to beat this season. I mean, you are now 6-1. You haven't dropped a game. You've only dropped the one game, and it wasn't even versus YUBI. So do you think you finally unseated YUBI from the standings?
I think so. I think right now Art of War is the team that's like to beat for a lot of people, and or in our case also INT, because we can't seem to beat INT. But I was honestly like kind of surprised. I thought YUBI would also be fighting in first place with us right now. But I think it's, you know, they made so many roster changes. I think it'll take a little bit of time, but I believe they're going to be a pretty solid contender going into the rest of the season, especially as we approach playoffs. I know that we'll see YUBI there, and you know, I think that they are a team to watch out for, but I think they need a little bit more time in the oven.
Just a little bit, but you know, it's like they're also that team that like seems to be a little bit of a sleeper early on and then suddenly awakens as a giant towards the end of the season. So I wouldn't count them out just yet. Yeah. All right. Well, with that, I think we're gonna go ahead and take a quick break. Thank you so much, Raptor. Really appreciate you coming on and getting to be the interviewed instead of the interviewer.
Yeah, it was fun. Behind.
All right. And with that, folks, we will take a quick break. Don't go away. We've got another couple of games coming up. It is going to be very, very exciting. I don't know about y'all, but I am looking forward to it. So it is going to be craziness going on. We got 2 more left. Stick around. We will be right back.